Americans, not just big donors who want cheap housekeepers. Democrats, meanwhile, moved in the opposite direction. They created sanctuary cities. They demanded amnesty for people here illegally. They attacked the very idea of citizenship as bigoted. In the end, Trump won. Democrats lost, in part because of their relative positions on this issue. Given all of that, it was just a year ago, it was bewildering to read a piece in Axios just 2 days ago with this title, quote, "Democrats in the driver's seat on DACA." Now, according to that story, congressional Democrats are confident they can get Republicans to concede to a full amnesty for all DACA recipients with no concessions. Not a concession on limiting chain migration, not one to stop future illegal immigration, not one to block another even bigger amnesty, say, a decade down the road. Unnamed Democrats in this piece were quoted openly boasting they can do whatever they want on immigration. They can move the country as far left as they care to because they believe the president has given up on the issue, doesn't want to fight it. Republicans in Congress, of course, really don't care about enforcing immigration law, a lot of them anyway. Can this be true? Sadly, it might be true. On immigration, many Republican lawmakers actively despise the views of their own voters. They're happy to let just about anyone into this country illegally and hand them citizenship, even though they know for a fact that virtually everyone will vote Democrat. Is it reckless? Is it self-destructive? Is it terrible for America? Yes, it is. It's all those things, and yet it's happening. The president shouldn't fall for this trick, though. He was elected by American citizens, not by DACA recipients. It turns out in polling done this week, less than 30% of Americans think that giving citizenship to illegal immigrants ought to be a priority. There are a lot of other things going on in this country, like, I don't know, a drug epidemic that's paralyzing entire regions, a middle class that's shrinking and getting poorer. Republicans were elected to fix those problems. Maybe they should start there. Are they? Congressman Trent Franks is a Republican. He represents Arizona, and he joins us tonight. Congressman, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Tucker.
This piece was surprising to those who were paying attention to the last election. The signature issue, I think is fair to say, of the Trump campaign was immigration and tightening the border. And this piece suggests that Republicans are unwilling to demand real concessions in exchange for legalizing people here illegally. Is that true?
Well, I think there is a struggle there. I think the Democrats and the left in general, Tucker, have been very capable of using some of these children as almost like human policy shields. I've seen over the years, you know, my life has been about children's issues, and primarily children's issues and national security is what I do in Congress. And it's been especially difficult for me sometimes to see the policies of the left. They use this notion it's for the children that they're doing, but many times it ends up being the worst thing for the children. And I've just seen it so many times, and I think that this is another example where they use the leverage of making it sound like Republicans don't care about children. And they work on us psychologically in ways that are pretty effective. But if you really look at it carefully, some of the immigration policies, even the Obama administration, end up putting a lot of children from south of the border at risk because it encouraged them to come over the border.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
But then why not fix it? Why not say, look, everyone feels sorry for people brought here as children, stateless, without citizenship? Of course. It's not a matter of being mean to the children. But why should the United States, at a time when so many people don't have jobs and wages are stagnant, allow people who get citizenship to bring all their relatives with them, chain migration to continue? Why is that? Why can't Republicans say, we're not doing this unless you concede that that's not part of the deal? I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, I obviously agree with you completely. I mean, the chain migration thing is an especially onerous thing. The terrorist that, you know, shot so many people up brought 23 people over with him. And I know that that's a common understanding among a lot of folks. But the bottom line is one of the greatest things that America can do for the world's children is to make sure we protect the foundational policies and this flagship of freedom called America, so that we can continue to be the example and the beacon of freedom for the whole world, so that people that never get a chance to come here, which is by far the vast majority of children in the world, that they have a chance to be the beneficiaries of the leadership this country provides to the world.
But here's what confuses me. I thought one of the lessons of the last election was American voters would like their government to pay attention to things that matter to them, and not put people from other countries ahead of them in line. And yet I keep reading story after story saying Republicans in the Congress, and it quotes a lot of them, saying, we've got to deal with this. Really? Because 60,000 people died last year of drug ODs. I don't see Americans. I don't see the same anxiousness to deal with that problem. Why?
Well, I do think that, like I say, that the left has tried to portray Republicans as uncaring toward children, and we just have to be strong enough to say, no, we know who we are. I mean, like I say, I used to head the Governor's Office for Children. I chair the Orphans and Vulnerable Children Caucus, the Adoption Caucus, the Foster Youth Caucus, and co-chair the Pro-Life Caucus in the Congress. So, I mean, these issues are extremely important to me, and I'm a little tired of the left who stands up and supports, you know, killing children moments before they're born. Most of the Democrats in the House voted against protecting born alive children, and I'm tired of them telling me that we don't care about children.
Yeah,
and using
no
it
matter
then
what
as
you do,
leverage. You know?
They'll